competitive world, average won't cut it. The Success Launch Point shows you how to stand out, deliver massive value, and rise above the crowd. With on-demand courses, expert coaching, and a community focused on growth, you'll accelerate your career and your paycheck. It's time to level up. Check out modernobserver.com/launchpoint.
Russian jets violate NATO airspace again. Gambling scandals in the NBA. Inflation slows, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Russia has renewed its violations of NATO airspace with jet incursions into Lithuanian territory, the nation's president announced Thursday. This is a blatant breach of international law and territorial integrity of Lithuania, according to the Lithuanian president. Once again, it confirms the importance of strengthening European air defense readiness. The Lithuanian Ministry of Defense said, Russian military aircraft briefly entered Lithuanian airspace. Our forces acted quickly with NATO jets on patrol. The ministry said around 6 p.m. local time, 2 Russian airplanes, an Su-30 and Il-78, a refueling aircraft, entered Lithuanian airspace for about 18 seconds. A government source guessed it was a refueling exercise. 2 Spanish fighter jets on a NATO air police mission flew to the site of the violation. This is another demonstration of NATO's readiness to respond to any developments and ability to ensure the safety of the alliance's airspace, a NATO official said. Democrats blocked a Republican-led attempt to provide essential government workers with paychecks amid an ongoing 23-day shutdown, calling the bill overly selective and incomplete. That bill, proposed by Senator Ron Johnson, Republican from Wisconsin, and Todd Young, Republican from Indiana, failed in a 54-45 vote, where 60 votes were needed to advance the bill over the threat of a filibuster. Only 3 Democrats, John Fetterman, Raphael Warnock, and John Ossoff, voted with Republicans. In addition to compensating federal employees and military personnel during the current shutdown, the bill would also extend relief to future instances where funding bills aren't in effect. President Donald Trump announced Thursday that trade negotiations with Canada have been terminated over a misleading advertisement featuring former President Ronald Reagan speaking out against tariffs. His statement came after the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute said that the ad misrepresents a presidential radio address Reagan delivered in April 1987 and that his remarks were edited without permission. Trump stated that Canada did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. The U.S. gross national debt officially exceeded $38 trillion for the first time on October 21st, a record pace of accumulation that reached the milestone just over 2 months after surpassing $37 trillion. This surge is driven by rising enrollment in entitlement programs, primarily Social Security and Medicare, as the population ages, and swelling interest expenses due to higher interest rates. Analysts warn that the debt is unsustainable, projecting that debt servicing costs will jump from $4 trillion to $14 trillion over the next decade, with the debt potentially reaching 120% of GDP by 2035. The Consumer Price Index increased 0.3% on a seasonally adjusted basis in September after rising 0.4% in August, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, the All Items Index increased 3% before seasonal adjustment, lower than the expected 3.1% in September, according to the Dow Jones Consensus Estimate. The Bureau of Labor Statistics notes that September CPI data collection was completed before the government shutdown. The FBI announced multiple high-profile arrests of former and current NBA players on Thursday as part of a months-long probe into an illegal mafia-backed gambling ring involving millions of dollars. Among those taken into custody were Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups. According to the investigators, the alleged ring operated two related but distinct schemes. In Rozier's case, he is accused of providing non-public information to criminal associates who then placed bets based on those tips. In at least one instance, Rozier allegedly faked an injury, allowing bettors to successfully wager on the under for his statistical performance. Billups, meanwhile, is accused of participating in a separate scheme that involved luring unsuspecting victims, or fish, into rigged poker games. These games, promoted as exclusive opportunities to play with high-profile sports figures like the former Pistons point guard, allegedly used tampered shuffling machines, X-ray poker tables, and specialized contact lenses that allowed conspirators to see other players' cards. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.